The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of NWA 75 Night 2 from St. Louis, Missouri, at the Chase, of course. You already saw Night 1. If you're with me now, you one of 37 people, but look, Night 2 is a little bit late. You know why? Because I had to watch AEW All In from Wembley Stadium. And, well, you know, it was what, 5 hours worth? I still have to live my life as well, man. I still have to live my life. Come on. So after my life was lived, then I got the chance to watch Night 2 of NWA 75. And stark contrast between Night 1 and Night 2. Let's be perfectly honest. And I'm sorry, I've got cotton mouth. Let's talk about the pre-show. Tim Storm was on commentary with Velvet and Joe Galley. Tim was talking about how he got hurt the previous night in his match with Jack Stane. Look, shit happens apparently, but you know what? Props to Tim for having the balls to be right there live and ready on commentary. Good on you, bro. Good on you, bro. Okay, let's continue on. Let's talk about the pre-show here, okay? Jesus Christ, it's been the pre-show was a bit boring. I'll be perfectly honest. The pre-show was boring. I'm sorry, but it was. We had Austin Idol's National Championship Battle Royal. You can't do an anniversary show with the National Wrestling Alliance without a Battle Royal. Let's be perfectly freaking honest. Again, I have cotton mouth. And I'm not talking about like a juicy boy cotton mouth where I've been charging that grain. I'm just really thirsty. Look, it's really difficult to write notes for a battle royal. Let's be perfectly honest. The person that I focused on most was CJ, you know, the backing chick for Magic Jake Dumas. Most of the notes were for her. I did like that Brody Pierce eliminated both of his brothers. I thought that was great. But then he got limited soon after. So it seemed like, well, him turning on his brothers meant nothing then. It meant nothing. CJ was doing her thing. The Outrunners were trying to hit on her and she hit them. It pops me. But to be perfectly honest, I thought that this battle royal took too long. CJ ended up accidentally eliminating her team. A lot of backstabbing this took place in this battle royal. Lugursky and his boy, they turned on Matt Vine. It happened a heap of times here. You know what? I wish I threw a couple of legends in here just for a pop, just for the pop. Come on. Next year, we need some pops. Come on. I thought Jordan Clearwater was going to win it, and he did. So we're going tit for tat with him in Zion. Not Zion. So Jordan Clearwater won the Battle Royal, and he got a shot later on at the National Championship. Let's move forward. Brothers of Funstruction interview. Nothing to say here other than the fact that Violent J killed it on the mic, bro. He really did. No wonder he got to where he did in life. Again, Pretty Empowered had an interview. Ella Envy, wow. I never had the opportunity to see Ella Envy cut a promo before, but she has got it, the gift of the gab. Ella Envy, massive respect for that. The Kenzie girls also chimed in. What happened to the fourth girl? Hang on. You know what? Let me seek this out. Pretty Empowered NWA. Okay. They have a Wikipedia page. So I want to find out. Roxy, that's her name. Roxy. Where is she? I can't find any information on what is going on with Roxy. Roxy. She was not here today, and I was thinking to myself, I thought that this was a team of foul. Let's move forward, man. Taylor Rising taking on Natalia Markova, who was Camille's opponent on night one. So we knew that this was a foregone conclusion. Look, let's be perfectly honest, okay? Let's call everyone. Let's just take a seat back, okay, and just listen to me. Every pre-show for most of these wrestling promotions that put on a pre-show, okay, most of the time they are waste of time and a bunch of foregone conclusions. Most of the time, honestly, I usually walk into this stuff feeling a little bit negative because half the time the pre-shows do not match how great the main card is. This is nothing against Taylor and Natalia, but I knew we all knew Natalia was winning this one, okay? And again, that's okay. Natalia, babe, if she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln, bro. But clearly she was winning. I think Taylor Rising shows a lot of promise. She's obviously quite young in her career, but her working with Natalia is only going to help because Natalia has improved by leaps and bounds, bro, over the last year. You know, when I first saw Natalia, I was like, oh yeah, you know, she's cool. Now, after all this time, she's really got good. This was not a bad match. I thought Natalia had it with a jazz stinger. You know what? Great German suplex, Taylor. You German suplex Natalia, and she landed on top of her skull, man, on her dome. But beautiful destruction took place at one stage, and it was over. Let's move forward. Chris Adonis had an interview backstage with the new girl. I still don't have a name written down. I should have written it down, but Adonis, simple, effective, building up the Latimer showdown as we enter the main pay-per-view. Let's move forward. NWA United States Championship. Sorry, excuse me. Tag Team Championship. The Country Gentlemen, who have been tag champs for the US for quite some time, they take on Daisy Kill and Talos. So, you know, these guys have had the belts for some time. Daisy Kill and Talos won a number one contendership matchup by beating the Fixers yesterday. It's probably actually 2 days ago now at this point of this review going up. But they got the opportunity to take on the Country Gentlemen. I did like the fact that Tim Storm, Cottonmouth again, excuse me. Tim Storm was roasting Daisy Kill and his hairstyle. Good stuff. I hate to be, you know me. I hate to be negative. This was slow and unmotivating. I don't know. I don't know who was the agent for this match, but whoever agented this match did not help this or these teams lay out the match in a way that would make it as exciting as what, I don't know, La Rebellion and the Brothers of Funstruction were later on, even though that also had some problems. Look, let's be perfectly honest, okay? Night 2 did not match night 1. And I will continue to try and explain that as we move along. So, like, honestly, like a lot of the time, I feel like with these NWA pay-per-views, like, yes, there are angles that are going into a lot of these matches that mean something, but half the time, there's something like the United States Tag Team titles that the only reason these matches are happening is because somebody won a match to get a shot at the championship. How about an angle, mate? How about some heat? You know, that's me. We need some heat. This had no heat. They got to give the US tag title some story. Okay, it needs to happen. Whilst I say that, I really did like the finish. It highlighted Talos or Talos. Talos is Talos, isn't it? He got it. You know, he when he came in like a house on fire with that hot tag, it ended up leading towards that finish. So we got new champs, Daisy Kill and Talos. And then, of course, Odinson and JR Kratos walk out to obviously make it clear that they are they're keen on a shot of the belts. So they have a stare down. Let's move forward. You know what? Joe Galley, the commentator, the play-by-play man for the NWA, he is a triumph. He is a triumph. He has become what is so synonymous with what NWA is all about. Props to you, bro. And I don't have any like quotes or anything to talk about when it comes to Joe Galley, but honestly, all over this show, all over the last 2 years that I watched the NWA, the guy just makes it so much more exciting. It doesn't matter who he's commentating with, it's always exciting. Let's move forward to begin NWA 75 and the actual pay-per-view. The NWA Television Championship was on the line in the first match. Thom Latimer, the champion, defended against his boy from Strictly Business, Chris Masters. Let me just say this. I watched the Go Home show for this pay-per-view, and the fact that this angle came about from the final show, the Go Home show, this is where you start the angle between Latimer and Masters. This is something that could go on for 6 to 12 months. You could do a big-time angle between these two, and you rushed it. You rushed it because you probably, oh shit, we need to do something with Latimer at the pay-per-view. That's just an assumption. I don't know, but still, ahead of time, you should have known where you were going to go with two of your premier performers on your roster, especially one of them being the television champion. That's just me. For the fact that the build was 1 week is just a bit weak. No pun intended. But honestly, this is the perfect match to start the show with because Latimer and Masters, yes, no matter what any of you say, they are still in their prime. I don't give a damn what any of you think. Latimer and Masters are still in their prime. So we start off the match. Chris has heat on the back. Heat. Latimer needs to fight back. He needs chocolate like Popeye needs spinach. He does fight back. This is some good stuff between the two. Very good back and forth. It's very 50-50. Latimer goes for that Bret Hart move, you know, when he's got like a sleeper hold or the $1 Million Dream from Steve Austin, and he bounces off the turnbuckle and tries to get a pin out of that. I love that spot. I've always loved that spot. Not Masters. Chris Adonis kicked out of that. But as time wore on, Thom Latimer got the opportunity to lock in the crossface, and he made Chris Adonis tap out. That's number 7. So now Thom Latimer has the opportunity at some point to go for the World's Heavyweight Championship. I hope he wins it. Let's move forward. NWA Women's World Tag Team Titles, M95, my girls, Mr. K and Maddie, defending against Pretty Empowered of, it's Kylie Page, right? You know what? I need to get the cage match thing going here. Cagematch.net, NWA 75. Let's just make sure we know all of our stuff. So yes, Latimer and Adonis went 9 minutes and 57 seconds. This next match, 7 minutes 46 seconds. Ella Envy and Kylie Page managed to win the championships here. So let's talk about that. Okay, let's talk about that, because M95, they won the belts, right? It was a bit of a you know, surprise that they won the belts. You know, they start to build and mold their tag team. I personally think that it's a mistake to have them drop the belts at this stage. If you want to start a team like M95 who won the belts the way that they did, I have already said it before, I think that they need to start beating some established teams that people know. I think maybe you should have got onto Velvet Sky and try to get her and Angelina Love to reform the Beautiful People and have M95 as the baby faces here and beat a team with legitimacy like the Beautiful People, to have them hot potato the belt back to Pretty Empowered, who had the belts last year when it was Kenzie and Ella. Then they won them again when it was Roxy and Ella. Okay, cool. Now Ella's won it with Kylie, but at the same time, what does this do for M95? I don't know. I hope they don't break that team up because I really think M95 could be something to behold. I did love the MTV shirt that Miss Kate was wearing, and I actually emailed her and asked her where I could get that. I will be wearing that at some stage in the next few months on this show. They were in charge early on, and I'm wondering, geez, because it's so long between pay-per-views, is it on me? Is it on me that I do not know what happened to Roxy? Maddie came in with a hot tag at one stage of the match. She was really doing well. But one thing, Kylie Page, just call a spade. She needs to work on her bumps. She will get there because she will be just as good as her sister at some point, because I'm sure it is all bloodline transmitted that they're both going to be great. Okay. You can see the promise in Kylie, but obviously Kenzie she's really firing on all cylinders right now. Missa botches to the outside. I don't know what happened, mate. I don't know what happened, but I kind of laughed a little bit just because I consider you my friend. So, but at some stage, Kylie Page hit a code red on Maddie, and then all of a sudden, Pretty Empowered were the new tag team champions. And I wrote, they beat my girls, because I consider M95 my girls. And I really hope that they stick together. I hope that this is not the end, because we need some tag teams in women's wrestling that actually stay together for a prolonged amount of time. And I like the duo of Maddie and Missa. Let's move forward. Kerry Morton has an interview backstage. Silas Mason interrupts with champagne. Like he's been celebrating for 24 hours straight and has to wrestle. There's no way. This is why I love about wrestling. Like, why are you running in like you're freaking Rubens Barrichello winning the Formula One Grand Prix? Shaking up your bottle of champagne. It was ridiculous, but very good stuff. Let's move forward again. NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship of the World. Colby Corino, the new champion, who beat Kerry Morton at night one of NWA 75. Give me a second. Again, the Cottonmouth. It is 4:45 in the morning. His opponent is Jack Cartwheel. So I don't know if you've seen what I've said about Jack Cartwheel in the past, but I've never really been a big fan of him. But I think it's because he has been in these stupid multi-man matches in AAA, which is the reason why I have not enjoyed him, because lo and behold, Carl does not like multi-man matches. I never have and I never will. Actually, I have, but now that they do them all the time, now I hate them. But he's impressive. And at the beginning, I still found it annoying. But you know what? He won me over here. I've been kind of bagging him out over the last few reviews that I've seen him perform on. He got himself over with that NWA audience. He's better solo than not in a multi-man. I did like Colby in his fire, and he fired up, but Jack was in charge, and he was large and in charge, bro. Is Colby the king of, is he the king of new school yet? Because if your dad's the king of old school, then you should take the moniker king of new school, man. Jack with a huge dive to the outside. The crowd were loving him, especially when he cartwheeled out of a tornado DDT. Like, we get it, bro. Okay, it's your surname and you have the world record and you do it all the time. We get it. I love it. I didn't at the beginning, but now I'm kind of popping for it. We got some near falls here, but there was a spot where you know what? I felt like Jack Cartwheel was doing this move off the top rope. I felt like it was on purpose, that he kind of messed up the twisting splash that he was doing off the top rope, hitting his legs on the top rope, which led to him getting laid out by Colby, and Colby ended up retaining the championship. A lot of people might have looked at that and thought to themselves, oh, he botched. But I actually think it was on purpose. I actually think the misfire was because, you know what, it's true to life. People would misfire sometimes on something as intricate as the maneuver he was trying to complete off the top rope. Let's move forward. NWA Women's Television title, Max the Impaler with Sinister Minister at ringside taking on Ruthie J. We knew where it was going. I only wrote 4 notes. Max is killing her. Ruthie, she locked in a sleeper out of a gorilla press. She also hit this wicked frog splash. But we knew where this was going. Like I have nothing else to say. We knew Max the Impaler was going to retain over Ruthie, and I just said she. Man, I was on fire. I was doing so well. They nailed Ruthie with a clothesline, just like they did the night before on night 1 to beat Kenzie for the belt. I like it. But we knew who was winning that one. We knew Max. Why would Ruthie win? Okay, let's move forward. La Rebellion with Vampiro at ringside taking on the Brothers of Funstruction again. I hate the name of that team. Could you not think of anything else? Destruction does not rhyme with fun-struction. Fun and Des don't rhyme. Could you not think of anything else? Something to, I don't know, use the word circus. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just a shit name. I honestly, like, I wish Violent J, who is their manager now, would be like, you know what, boys? I think the Brothers of Funstruction is a shit name. How about we just call ourselves homies? Okay. I thought La Rebellion should win this one. I didn't really like this match too much. I didn't like the balloon pop in the face. A balloon popped in his face. The referee got distracted by Violent J, and they kept the heat on the other end. Then Vamp and Jay got involved. It was this kind of match was more about the managers than the actual tag teams. But unfortunately, there was a spot where Vampiro was supposed to super kick someone, and he totally mistimed his spot. Reminded me a lot of that referee that jumped in and just ran towards Adam Cole when he was supposed to be pulled in by Adam Cole during his match with MJF at All In. Totally mistimed. But anyway, splash from the top. It's over, right? That's what I wrote. It's over. Splash from the top. I got confused because the next note was that wasn't that goo. And I'm like, what do you mean goo? There was no goo. Oh, you meant good, Carl. Why would you be talking about goo in a match between these two tag teams? So anyway, oh, sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry. Joe Galley talked about Halls of Illusions after Jay got beaten up. So I love Violent J. I love the ICP. I love, for whatever reason, I do love Vampiro, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe this match was a little bit too concerned with the managers, and La Rebellion did not get to be featured the way that they usually have in NWA this past weekend. Let's move forward. Tyrus had an interview. It was a good one. Nothing to say there. Let's move forward. Wow, I have no fucking notes on this next match. Kerry Morton takes on Matt Cardona, who had just lost to his dad yesterday. Kerry cut a great promo on the mic. Honestly, I was very impressed. It seems like Kerry Morton's becoming more and more unhinged. He's becoming more and more of a prick. He's taken that immaturity in his brain as a character and he's running with it. And I'm sure at some stage something will happen to him that will make him realize, wow, I'm being a dickhead, and he might turn babyface again. It's all true to life. Let's keep people's careers progressing as if it were real life. When bad things happen, your personality changes. So Kerry's being arrogant, cocky. I used to be like that when I was in my early 20s, but then something bad happened to me. When something bad happened to me, guess what? I kind of changed. And that's what happens with a lot of young people. They think that they're indestructible. And then one day something happens to them. And then they have that, it sounds religious, but come to Jesus moment of, whoa, hang on, wow, I'm an idiot. And most people who are in their 20s realize that they are an idiot, because that's the point of being in your early 20s, is to be an idiot. But anyway, you can see that Kerry is way more confident now. This was a really good back and forth contest between the two, although I kind of felt a little bit bad about for Matt Cardona and his spot on this show and yesterday's show, being the guy that's just putting people over. I'm sure he doesn't really care, but the fact is, the guy was the former world champion. And then after he had to drop the belt because of his injury, it just seems like he hasn't really done anything of note since then. Yes, I know Chelsea left for WWE. I know Knox went to team with Murdoch, but I don't know. I'm sure I'll figure out where he's at in his career when I watch some more NWA, MLW. So turning heel did the world of good for Kerry. I fully believe he got a low blow and he beat Cardona, which is a huge win for Kerry Morton. Let's move forward. We have 4 matches left. The next one I do not have many notes from, because you know why? I thought that this didn't even need to really be on the show. Thrillbilly, who had just won the NWA National Championship the day before, he's defending against the guy who won the Battle Royal on the pre-show, Jordan Clearwater. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. There's no heat on this. It's just a match. There's a few throwaway matches on this show. This is a foregone conclusion. Silas retains. I'm sorry. I kind of zoned out on that one. And it's okay. Look, you want to get people on the show and all that, but I don't know. When you do these 2-day shows, we don't need that many people doing double duty, do we? Like, why couldn't he just? I don't know. Look, I'm not going to come up with some better reason to have Thrillbilly defend the title on this show, on the spot right here, but I don't know. Like, you have Jordan Clearwater win this big battle royal and then he just loses, like, but you wouldn't have him win anyway. So I just feel like you just don't need to do this in the first place. Anyway, let's continue. Third last match of the show, NWA World Tag Team Championships on the line. The new champions, Blunt Force Trauma. They defend with Aaron Stevens at ringside against Knox and Murdoch. What can I say? What can I say about this? You know what? I really like about Blunt Force Trauma is that they are the kings of that frustrating heat, because they got that heat. They got the heat taking place. Heat, but it's boring heat. But it's okay. You know why? Because a heel tag team isn't supposed to be specky. They're not supposed to be exciting. They're not supposed to do dives. They're supposed to create heat and be boring and try and find a way to cut off the ring and make sure that they're large and in charge, motherfucker. So that's all I've got to really say. I mean, I don't really have much more notes on that tag team match, but I really liked the heat for BFT because they were being frustrating heels that aren't likable. Trevor got a hot tag. There was a lot of crazy stuff taking place, which led to Trevor and Knox hitting their finisher, that high-low. I love that clothesline with the chop block from behind, but Aaron Stevens got involved and he hit one of them with a loaded glove. Come on, man. That's great. That is great. And they retained the titles. Very cool. I was very worried that they were going to lose them. Coming up next, second last match on the show, NWA Women's World Championship. Camille, the world champion over 800 plus days, defending against Kenzie Page, who surprisingly joined the gauntlet match that took place on night 1, and she managed to win that after getting squashed by Max the Impaler earlier in the show to lose a television championship. Now she's challenging Camille for the belt here on night 2 of NWA 75. Okay. So Camille was overpowering her at the beginning. And I thought to myself, okay, I already knew the result of this match beforehand, because unfortunately my good friend Mean Mike from Disorderly Conduct from WCW messaged me saying, hey man, I can't believe Camille, or whatever it was. So how did you feel about Camille losing and I'm like, bro, you just spoiled it for me and I haven't seen it yet. Oh, I thought you would have seen it by now. Mike, AEW, all it was 5-6 hours long. I also have a life to live. I'm not going to watch one after another after another. I need a break between these pay-per-views. And Impact Emergence was on the same day as well, and I still haven't watched it. And it's now nearly 5 in the morning, so that's going to have to wait till the next day for me to review. But anyway, so the result of this was already ruined for me, right? And I kept thinking to myself, well, she's losing, then you know what? If Camille loses the belt here today, then that is her last match in the NWA. If I were her, the one-time champ, I would not show up for the company again. Maybe on Power to maybe anoint Kenzie as the champion, but be like, you know what? You finally beat me after all this time. Somebody beat me, but what else do I have to prove? What? Do I have a rematch with you? Do I beat you for the belt again? Or and become a two-time champion? Or do I just be like, you know what? I did what I needed to do. I have nothing left to prove. Winning the belt again doesn't prove anything. I've already been the champion. Well done, Kenzie. You've become a woman now. You are no longer a little girl hanging out with teenagers, as she said on Power. It's time for me to move on. And that's when Camille goes to NXT and becomes NXT Women's Champion. And then she ends up becoming WWE Women's Champion, because that's exactly what should happen. Exactly. Anyway, the match was really good. Camille was in charge, then Kenzie was in charge, but Kenzie was exposing that turnbuckle. The one thing that I had a little problem with, though, is like Kenzie she just got killed yesterday. So why is it she's able to kick out of that crazy stuff that Camille's hitting on her now, even though she got leveled and laid out by Max the Impaler, who lost to Camille last year? Really like the Kenzie cutter. The exposed turnbuckle was right there, which Camille hit a spear into, which was good. It was good that there was a real big time reason why she ended up getting pinned here, because she hit the exposed turnbuckle. So she still actually hasn't technically been beaten totally clean. But I felt like this was kind of a shame that a title reign over 800 days, 820 days or so, ends in her losing to somebody she's beaten multiple times, and the storyline basically between her and Kenzie began at NWA Power, from what I gather. But I think, to be perfectly honest, you might as well have Natalia Markova beaten Camille for it the night before. You might as well. I don't know. Nothing against Kenzie. I'm sure she'd be ready for it maybe 6 months, but I don't know. It would have been more meaningful for the actual feud that was taking place for Natalia to beat Camille for it. For Kenzie to just kind of suddenly swoop in. Yes, I know. It's kind of true to life how these things happen sometimes, but still wasn't too sure about it. But that's it. Whatever. If Camille is done with the NWA, I really, really hope to see her pop up in NXT in some at some point in the future. I really do not want to see Camille go to AEW if that's a possibility. Why? Because they already have too many ladies that only get one match a show anyway. Like, they don't really emphasize the women's division very much there. There's too many people on the roster, and they just showed Mercedes Moné on at All In, and I'm like, well, if they bring her in, then all the other AEW girls just go down a little bit further again. So I can't wait to see Ty Conti wrestle on Dynamite or Rampage in 8 months' time. If anything else, if she went to Impact Wrestling, I would not have a problem with that either. That would be cool if she kind of ascended to the top there and totally 100% did the exact same thing that she did here at NWA, but in Impact. As long as the person that beats her for the belt actually is someone that she's having a long time story with, where the culmination of the story really means something, as opposed to somebody out of nowhere beating her for the belt. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound bitter. I'm not bitter. Kenzie's awesome, and I'm really happy for her. But I just don't know if that's the right way for Camille to have lost the belt, especially considering that your NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Tyrus was going to drop his belt as well. This is what took place. He is in the main event of the evening defending against EC3. When I found out that these two were battling each other in the main event of NWA 75, nothing against them. Nothing against them. There have been times where I've been impressed with Tyrus. A lot of people out there bag him out. There have been maybe one time I was impressed with EC3. I'm sorry, since he's been in NWA, I've not been a fan of his angles. But let me just say this, okay? I can see the E for effort in the EC3, okay? He's trying. Tyrus, I see the E for effort with him, okay? But I felt like when I heard this match, they both still seem like heels, even though Tyrus is a babyface, apparently. This match felt like heel versus heel. Joe Galley was selling this match hard, but I kept thinking to myself, like, it's nothing, honestly, it's nothing against Ethan Carter III and Tyrus. I just really think that no one really wanted to see this match for the NWA 75th anniversary show. I just really don't think that this was the main event that we needed. But they were going to head the way that they were going to head because whoever's booking's booking. What am I going to do? Just like name all the spots of the match? There's nothing really to say here. I thought that, damn it. Oh, man, I hate being this negative. I'm sorry. Because I gave night 1 an 8 out of 10. I thought the whole show was fantastic. Every match on the main card was so suspenseful, interesting, fun. I was on the edge of my seat, and I felt like, gosh, this show has really been disappointing for night 2. That really, I can't believe I wrote this note, but it's true, and this is exactly how I feel. And I've seen Tyrus have good matches. I really thought his match with Trevor Murdoch the first time around was really good, and I could see the concerted effort he was putting into the match. There was a 4-way, I think, with Cardona, Trevor, and someone else was in it. But anyway, I could see, again, the concerted effort from Tyrus there made me think, oh, okay, the guy can move. When he was television champion, it was like he was stuck in the mud. I wrote that this match was terrible. Because it was. I'm sorry, it really was. I really didn't enjoy it. I could see that they were trying, but it was a bull rope match. It just wasn't good. I'm really sorry. Night 2, can't touch night 1. Tyrus tapped out at some stage of the match. The match went 17 minutes and 21 seconds. Really? It went that long? It didn't feel like it went that long. It felt like it went about 9 minutes. Honestly, it felt like it went half the time. I don't know. I completely forgot to mention the timestamps for every other match, just like I did the other day. But if that's Tyrus's last match and he's retired, then I feel bad that I felt the match was terrible. But like honestly, I just did not think him and EC3 had any chemistry whatsoever. Damn, I can't believe I've been so negative, but this is how I feel. Like I can't lie and just pretend everything's hunky-dory all the time. If I didn't like something, I didn't like something. And I'm sure if the powers that be watch this back, they might be like, oh yeah, that might have been a bit of a misfire considering how hot night 1 was. So there we have it, everyone. My review of NWA 75 night 2. I'm gonna give it a 5.5 out of 10. Oh man, I feel really bad saying that. It's been so long since I've given anything lower than a 6. Honestly, the match with Camille and Kenzie was really good, although it was kind of ruined for me because I knew who was winning at a time. And after all this time being so invested in the story with Camille and her being my favorite, for it to culminate with me being spoiled that she's losing the belt, man, that really upset me. Actually, it reminded me of the time when I found out from my dickhead friend Wes. He told me that Shawn Michaels ended his career by losing to The Undertaker at WrestleMania before I'd even seen WrestleMania. And I was like, bro, I hadn't seen it yet. Now you just told me that Sean's retired. Great, thank you. I think Blunt Force Trauma, they were really good. Thrillbilly and Jordan Clearwater was the throwaway. Kerry, Morton, Matt Cardona, throwaway. La Rebellion and Brothers of Funstruction, throwaway. Max the Impaler against Ruthie J, throwaway. That's an NWA power match. Colby, Corino, and Jack Cartwheel was probably the only other match that really felt like it meant something. Yeah, 5.5 out of 10. That's man, I feel really bad that I gave it such a low rating, but this is just how I felt. Night one, amazing, 8 out of 10. I haven't given 8 out of 10 in ages. So there we have it, everyone. Thank you for joining me here on the WZWA network. I'm Karlifornia. Once again, I really love it. NWA, always will. And people, I really think you should give it a chance, despite the fact I gave this one a 5.5 out of 10. Honestly, I saw night one and I can see the potential of where they can go, but I just thought night two was poorly booked, poorly written, and the matches did not come across the way that they needed to. So there we have it. I'm Karlifornia, WZWA Network. See you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.